January this year, I was fortunate enough to go to Kansas City and to visit the United Soccer Coaches Convention, where I met some old friends and made some new friends. I was educated and I was enlightened, certainly no more so than the Guam Football Association. From the Football Association, Hafa Adai, to Jill Espiritu from the Guam Football Association. Welcome, Jill. I think I butchered that, hopefully not.
Half a day, Richie. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning, good evening. We're across the planet, right? We're right around the other side of the globe. Thank you very much for joining us. The Guam Football Association and your roles within that. I know you wear many hats. What's it educators right now?
Okay. Yep. So Jill Espiritu. I've been part of the Guam Football Association since 2012 as a media and marketing officer, and currently I hold the title of head of communications and commercialization. And so, like Richie was mentioning earlier, we met at the United Soccer Coaches Convention in Kansas City. And that was the first convention that Guam Football Association attended live in person. And, definitely a great experience meeting a lot of new people and, hoping to get opportunities for our coaches, more of our staff, and of course, our athletes as well in the United States. And so we thought that that was a good convention to go to. So, definitely a great experience and happy to meet people like Richie and everyone at Sporting Denver.
Now, I did take a look on the map. I sort of knew where it was. But what I didn't realize, my apologies, it's actually an overseas territory of the United States, correct?
Yes, that is correct. So we are a territory of the United States, although we do have our own football association that plays in the Asian Football Confederation.
And to get those players and evolve, which is a huge task, which we spoke about at the convention, you're reaching out across the United States for connections, for players to be associated with the international team. Is that correct? And how does that work, Jill?
Okay, so yeah, that was definitely one of the objectives that we had going into the United Soccer Coaches Convention was, to network with coaches across the country, hoping to find players who are eligible to play for Guam. So the one thing that is required is that the player has a United States passport and also meets FIFA eligibility rules to play for Guam. So one of them being the player was either born in Guam, or the player's biological mother or father were born in Guam, or the player's biological grandmother or grandfather were born in Guam. And then the last is if the player had been living in Guam for at least 5 years after the age of 18. So, I mean, for those 4 points that I mentioned, if you meet any one of those points, then you'd be eligible to play for Guam. So we did actually find a couple of players in the United States who hadn't known about the FIFA eligibility rules and were able to play international football, playing against countries like Japan, Korea, China, Iran, the top country, one of the top countries in Asia. So we've had a lot of opportunities for players who are interested in international football and do have roots in Guam, either through one of their parents.
That is absolutely fascinating. So you could evolve into a bigger pool of players than just the population and the people, in Guam currently, right?
Yes, that's correct. So currently we have about 160,000 people in Guam.
Right.
But we do have quite a network of families that do live outside of Guam and mostly in the United States. So that's definitely where we can expand our player pool.
So anybody listening to this, any followers or just people out there that drop into this show at some stage, how would they get connected with you? Let's say they're US based.
Okay, so if the player is interested in international football, I mean, and they're eligible to play for Guam, we would recommend that they get in contact with Guam Football Association through our technical department, through email. So it's pretty easy. So technical at theguamfa.com, with a copy to info at theguamfa.com, where you'd get in touch with coaches from our national program.
Sure.
And from there, they'd be able to advise on what items, documents they would need. And of course, if there's any film footage that they could watch, especially since, it's a bit difficult to travel to the United States often to
Sure.
watch matches or training sessions, that sort of thing. And also to inform players, if we do have upcoming training camps that we have in the United States. Last year, we had a couple of them at the in San Diego in the summer.
Sure.
So I mean, just a wealth of information for players who are interested in international football, but also to get in touch with their roots here in Guam. So
Yes.
we've had a couple of players who had never been to Guam, but were eligible to play, and the first time in their life they came to the island, enjoyed it. And they were just so happy to be connected to, let's say their mother's family that they had never seen before, or just even extended family here in Guam that they had never met in person.
That's a wonderful story, and what soccer brings to people with that opportunity to experience their hereditary, their culture, their generations, down in history. I think that is wonderful. What does you're on my bucket list for a visit. I'm so sorry. I might go via Singapore, see Tariq, but I will be come down there. What does the current setup in Guam look like for obviously the men's setup and also the women's setup? How is that functioning at the moment, Jill?
Okay, so so definitely we actually do have six national teams training during the week. So our men's national team, our women's national team, but we also have youth teams. So under 20, under 17, and under 14. So 6 youth groups, and then the 2 senior groups that we have. So we have a national training center here, and it's about 19 acres, we have 3 full-size pitches, 2 artificial pitches, and 1 natural grass. We do have a fully equipped fitness center, and then we also have futsal courts, and we have a beach soccer court as well. And we're looking to expand to other facilities in the island. So right now, our headquarters is in the northern part of Guam, but we're also looking to construct another facility in the central part of Guam and another one in the southern part of Guam as well.
That is a fantastic facility, and is that supported by the Asian Federation as well? Do you qualify to maybe get some funding, or is it funded by the Guam FA?
So we are fortunate to be a member of FIFA and AFC, who have been instrumental in assisting us with building our program here. So the National Training Center that I was talking about earlier. It's actually the product of 4 different FIFA goal projects. So then we our executives applied for projects with FIFA that eventually got approved, and then we were able to construct the headquarters, build the fields, put lights, have a parking lot, and then the upcoming facilities that we have are also part of FIFA and AFC infrastructure grant funding as well too. So that's how we're able to build all these facilities for our athletes here in the community.
That is brilliant. What's the growth of the youth coming in to play the game, play soccer, football? Certainly over since your involvement with the Guam FA, Jill. Is it growing?
Definitely growing. So I mean, just within the past decade, So yeah, I've been here for 10 years, and
Yeah.
we've definitely seen growth in popularity, especially at the youth level. And then, of course, with the recent popularity of our men's and women's team as well, that's also contributing to the popularity of the sport here in Guam. So right now, at the youth level, we are the most popular sport with about 3,000 youth players who play twice a year in our youth league. We did take a break because of the pandemic, but we are looking to start up our youth league again, actually this weekend. So we're going to see all of the kids come back out to the pitch and start playing again. And then, of course, our national teams have continued to train. So, and we have the 6 youth groups. So then the numbers for our pool in the youth level is also growing as well. So hopefully, we can continue to grow, and not only grow, but also increase our competitiveness internationally as well. So, so build that pool, and then, with our quality internationally licensed coaches to build up the players and increase the quality of training and play.
On the coach side of it, Joe, you just mentioned that. What's the coach education structure look like from there in delivering education courses for obviously your full-time coaches and maybe developing some parent coaches that want to come in? What does that look like, Jill?
So our coach education program here. So we do facilitate courses for beginner coaches. So like volunteer parents. Most of our clubs have volunteer coaches, or they make up most of the coaches at the clubs.
Brilliant.
And we do provide basic coaching courses, and so this is for coaches who are entering maybe like at the coaching the U6 or U8 level.
Right.
Just to get them familiar with the sport, and then also working with kids as well. But then we also have local licenses. So we have we've had an E license. We also have a D license. And then starting from the C level up to the pro level, these are international licenses that so a lot of our coaches here who have gone through courses in Asia have AFC licenses ranging from the C up to our men's national coach. He has an AFC Pro diploma, which is the highest level of certification in Asia. So we're in a unique position where the AFC is looking to have the member associations take charge of their coach education programs. So instead of our coaches going to countries in Asia or inviting instructor from another country, we're looking to build our program so we can deliver at least the AFC C and B courses here in Guam. So that's in the works. So that's under the AFC coaching convention that we're looking to become a part of.
Of course, and it seems like the whole package. If you want to, progress, through those C, B, and A, or as you mentioned, into those pro courses, is available. But to the parents coming down there, just get involved, have some training, and just have some super fun with it within the game, right?
Definitely. So so part of my role, like I do take photos and videos to document events here at GFA, and I've actually been part of the beginner coaching course where the parents or the volunteer coaches are looking to gain some experience coaching at the U6, U8 level. And I think the fun part of it is when they have the coaches actually participate in the sessions that they're learning. So so there's a session that's built for like U8 team, and the coaches actually take part in this session, and it's really nice to just see them smiling, laughing, having fun, and that's exactly what you want the kids to do. So to see them, it's funny at times. It's like, okay, well, this is like a U6, U8 type of training session, and they're having fun as adults, but definitely that translates to the kids if the coaches are happy and enjoying.
Those sessions where all the the candidates that are in there, I don't want to use the word candidates, but maybe coaches, just having fun with it. I think that's a huge part of that interaction, and it's my favourite bit sometimes. Just getting in there, playing. And I think we have to realise, Jill, and they find out that, when you're coaching those younger age groups, that's probably a harder job the hardest job coaching on the planet than coaching a Manchester City or a Barcelona. It's special.
Yeah, definitely special. I mean, like you do have a lot of different personalities with the kids and also skill levels. So the one thing that a lot of the coaches point out, they're like, you have some kids that really understand like what the objective is for a training session. They're kicking the
Sure.
ball to where it needs to go.
Yeah.
Running around the cones or whatever their setup is. But then there's always like one or two kids who are interested in just watching planes fly by or picking flowers or or things like that. But of course, the volunteer coaches have to pretty much embrace all of the different personalities and understand them up to like the more competitive levels, and that's really an important part of an athlete's journey, is really the beginning and falling in love with the sport.
Absolutely, totally. And at that level, it is so rewarding, and it's priceless to help that younger child develop. So coming through the process, Jill, you start to identify some players at a younger age, might be 9, 10, 11. What would be the next pathway for them to evolve? Obviously, we want to keep players playing and having fun, no matter what age. What would it look like in that transition when you've been identified as a potential future talent?
Yeah, so we have our youth national teams that start from the U14 level, and so the U14 level, will include kids as young as 11 up to the top age, and they matriculate through our program. So of course, at that age group, it's we have a lot of kids who will come into the program. Some do stay up until the top level. And then some, stay at the youth level, and then maybe decide that they have like another passion when they get older. But we do provide that elite player pathway for those players that do want to ascend and play at the highest level. And in addition to our national program, part of our elite player pathway is also intercollegiate soccer, for those who choose to take that, or semi-professional, or up to professional league play. And then, of course, our highest level is playing on our men's and women's national team in international competition, which could include FIFA World Cup qualifiers or
Sure.
AFC Asian Cup qualifiers. So I mean, it's a pyramid that structure that we show with our the base being really our grassroots football program, which is all of our participants, as young as we have our youth league starts at U6, so we have players as young as 4 years old that start playing in our youth league, and then all the way up to the senior level. And then even from there, we do have a separate recreational pathway. So
Brilliant.
we do have a soccer moms league for mothers, and then yeah, we have a masters division for male players that are at least 40 years old and above. So we and just I recall a couple of years ago, I think we were looking into statistics, and I think we recognized that one of our oldest players in the Masters division had to have been in his mid 70s, still playing in the league. So so yeah, I mean, there's an opportunity for everyone, and not only in our leagues, but we also have special events like. We've partnered with Special Olympics Guam, so we develop unified soccer in Guam as well. So we have that opportunity for the special athletes and also for other participants who want to play in that event as well. And then of course youth tournaments, adult tournaments throughout the year.
Fantastic. I think I'm going to qualify for that older scenario. I don't. I might be the youth policy of the older. kudos to that guy. It's so much fun, isn't it? It's the game. It's beautiful and it's there for you. And what you're doing is phenomenal, and it's for everyone, right?
Definitely, yes. Football for all.
I want to see the Mums League. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. I think we should do some Mums Leagues here. It would be brilliant because I'm in the old guys league anyway. So
Yeah.
go on, Joe. Go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, funny you mentioned that, you're interested in, seeing, our moms league play, because then, I also keep track of analytics on social media, and so of course our national teams, get the most interaction with
Yeah.
fans, but probably just close right under them is our moms league. So like in terms of popularity, like they're pretty high up there as well. So yeah, and the moms league as well. I mean, it like our youth league, it brings together families. So
Yeah.
instead of seeing like mothers in the stands cheering on their kids, you see their husbands, taking care of their kids, watching their mom play, and it's quite a sight to see. I mean, you'll see moms talking to their kids like, oh, can you teach me how to throw in the ball properly? Or, or like, how do you strike the ball so well? Things like that. It's actually really nice.
That's the beautiful game, right? That's the heart and soul of it. Yeah.
Definitely, yes.
So when you've got your league play for your youth and your mum's league and your oldest league for me, is it all on one facility or is it spread around the island?
Well, currently we use our national training center to play. So our national training center is quite busy daily. So in addition to the national team trainings, and we do have the leagues that happen here and the events. But of course, when we do develop the properties in the central part of Guam and southern part of Guam, we're hoping to utilize those as well. With the rising gas prices too,
Oh,
we're so we're looking to have facilities in different parts of Guam so we can get more people involved. Right now, I mean, we're looking at I believe a gallon of gas here in Guam is almost $6. So
oof.
yeah, so yeah, I mean, but we're hoping to that these facilities also will help grow the game and get more
Yeah.
people to come out. Especially if there's additional facilities for them to play the sport.
So cuisine. We talked a bit of football and stuff, and I like me food, and the cuisine in Guam and the street markets, the whole cultural aspect of the capital city and the areas out there. So if I'm coming to Guam, what dish would you be? I eat anything. So what dish would you be recommending me when I buzz out there to eat?
So generally for first time guests to Guam, we like to recommend one of our Caledonia dishes. So we have a version with chicken Caledonia, beef Caledonia. There's shrimp. I mean, almost anything. So yeah, actually, the pictures you're just showing. Yeah. How I would describe it, I guess, is it's similar to like a cold chicken salad with that's spicy, that's sour, that's just pretty much like all the flavors together. It's really refreshing, good.
Fantastic.
Put it in a tortilla or titidza, what we call that here, and then just eat it together, or as an appetizer before a bigger meal.
Fantastic. I'm booking a flight, and I'm going to come and sample it if they'll let me in. Hopefully, you put a good word in for me, Joe, wouldn't you, on entry to the country? So please, that'd be great. So back to the events. Do you? It's almost a party atmosphere when mum's playing and son or daughter's watching, dad may play and doing all the good stuff. Then the competitive spirit of the youth game, and well, all of them. Um, at the facilities, do sort of people hang out and maybe what we would refer to maybe there as well, tailgate and share some food if it's a tournament and all day. Does that happen as well, Jill?
Yes, so I guess I would describe how the facility would be pre-pandemic because now it's a little bit different. But before the pandemic hit, I mean, we would have our parking lot full of spectators. For the youth league, especially for the nighttime leagues, we will have people in our parking lot setting up like barbecues. And it's not. Yeah, and I guess yeah, the idea of tailgating, to a certain extent here, some families do bring their canopies and tents, their barbecue grills, and they just have a fun time. Like, and this is not only during the league play. I mean, sometimes these are families of youth national team athletes that are training. So then in the middle of the week, they'll have like a food spread
Brilliant.
for other families of the national team players as well.
One big party both on and off the field, and everybody's together. It's a beautiful island. It has beautiful culture. It's inspirational what you're doing there, Jill. You and your team, of course, and developing youth for the future to not just represent their country in a sport, in a world sport, but as people and individuals as well. On the travel side, with those youth teams, and the international, the adults, the women's and the men's team, where do you go mainly to play when you're leaving the island? You've got a game. How does that work? Do you fit a few games in on the travel?
Yeah, so our national teams, I guess, depending on the draws for the tournament,
Right. Yeah.
would determine where the venues are. So, but then also regionally, we do participate in East Asian Football Federation tournaments.
Right.
So those are generally held in the East Asian region. So a lot of our teams play in Hong Kong, in China, Japan, Korea. Um, but then, for FIFA World Cup qualifiers or Asian Women's Cup or Asian Cup qualifiers, like our men's national teams have competed in Dubai, in Iran,
Right.
in Turkmenistan. Last year, our women's team played in the AFC Women's Asian Cup qualifiers. We played in a neutral venue in Kyrgyz Republic. So yeah, I mean, like we're just all over Asia, and that's unique also to our federation, where we could be pulled into a group where the venue is like 8 time zones away. So then
Wow.
yeah, so it does get taxing, I guess, for some of our players and our staff as well, and also quite costly. So we've had to balance that, the health and safety of our players, of course, first and foremost, but
Of
then
course.
also having to fly across the continent. That's also gets quite costly. So we do appreciate definitely the support of FIFA, AFC, EFF, and of course our local business partners as well. So they definitely keep really keeping the hopes and dreams alive of our youth players. Hoping to make it to the international stage.
That's a compendium of challenges that you've just mentioned there, and huge kudos to you and your staff for doing that. And I know the reason why is because you thoroughly enjoy it, and it's I think I mentioned rewarding and priceless. What you're doing, Jill, and your staff, and please pass on top kudos from Sport in Denver. Couple of last things. Just repeat again. Anybody in the US, or it's just go ahead with anybody in the US. They could be in Canada, they could be in Central or South America, but they could play for Guam. Go ahead and repeat that, because I'm all over that.
Sure. So definitely, we the player would be required to have a U.S. passport, either as a dual citizen if they're from a foreign country, But then also the FIFA eligibility requirements, which is, they would need to meet either one of the following. So either the player was born in Guam, biological mother or father born in Guam, a grandmother or grandfather born in Guam, or have lived in Guam at least 5 years. So yeah, I mean, like, but of course, we are building our local players as well. So it's always a good experience for a lot of our local players to play alongside those in professional leagues. So even in our men's national team setup, you know, one of our players, AJ De La Garza, currently playing for the New England Revolution.
Brilliant.
His grandmother was born in Guam, and so a lot of our local players, have had the opportunity to play alongside a professional player that's playing in the top league in the U.S. And then, of course, we have a couple of other players playing in the USL as well that play for Guam. And then on the women's side, we do have some players in the WPSL as well that do play on our national team. So yes, I mean, that was one objective we had at the United Soccer Coaches Convention. But another one too, like I didn't talk about earlier, was that, we wanted to create a network of college coaches and recruiters to help our domestic players in high school looking to play at the collegiate level. And it's part of our pathway, but then also to help them with that network. So meeting these college coaches and showing the level that our players play at. It's hard to fly out to Guam to see them train, but
Right.
then but their soccer resume includes matches against U16, U19 teams from Japan, from Korea, from China. So they're coming with a lot of international playing experience for the U.S. colleges.
College coaches out there, get in touch. We had the link up there. You can Google it anyway. You can get in touch with Jill. There's tremendous players evolving out there in Guam through the Football Association that are worthy of looking at for the collegiate experience recruitment, right, Jill?
Definitely, yeah, and yeah, we can definitely help with connecting the players to the coaches as well.
That is wonderful. I just want to take a moment before I hit you with a quick fire 5 questions it's a wonderful story. It's refreshing. It's heartfelt, and it brings a smile to everybody's face across the planet. And at these times, the soccer family across the world, from Sporting Denver and the Guam Football Association, out to our brothers and our sisters out there in Ukraine, we stand by you. And this little 30-minute event of a bit of joy and happiness on a good story, we are with you and we support you, right, Jill?
Definitely, yes.
So, me quick fire 5 questions. I'm going to hit you. What team do you support? Who's your team?
The Guam national teams.
That's good enough for me. It's on my list too. Who's your favourite player, male or female? Who's your favourite player that you would say to anyone, that's a player?
I personally, I grew up with that generation with Mia Hamm. I think yeah, she was the one that inspired me in football as on the playing side.
Brilliant, great choice. Anybody that's coming to visit Guam for what would you recommend? What a place to visit, a restaurant? What would you? It's a must see when you go to Guam.
Actually, Guam's natural beauty. So I would definitely recommend one of our beaches. We have 125 kilometers of coastline, so I mean, there's a lot of beaches to see, and that's definitely on the top of my list to tell people who come to Guam is the natural beauty. That's what you need to see.
Everything. It's an open book. Fantastic. Inspirational music. What gets you going on the music front? Is it a band? Is it a solo artist? What is it? What's your music taste? Boom. That's Jill. That's my music.
I grew up, with 90s alternative music. I mean, for me personally, so.
That'll work. We won't mention any bands or anything. You can go and find it out. That was slightly after my time, a little bit older, you see, Jill. But I do get that. If you could pick one, this is my last question, and then if you'd be good enough, leave everybody a message. My last question. One inspirational person on the planet or entity that we should be looking up to right now, just one complete and utter inspiration. What would you deliver? What would it be for you?
Oh, wow. Okay. Really, for me personally, it's actually my mother. But I mean, for everyone else, I mean, it's really anyone who truly supports, your passion and what you want to do. That's the kind of person that you should be looking up to.
Brilliant. Jill, from Richie, thank you. That's the only hat trick I'll ever get. If you'd be kind enough to leave us with one final message from yourself, and very much appreciated for your time, education, and you are inspirational. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. So, of course, I just want to, advise people that, if you do have a dream, if you do have a passion, despite the challenges that you might face, just keep moving forward and keep your eye on the prize.
Are you a soccer coach that wishes you could focus more on the game, over scheduling, organising and planning? The problem with being a soccer coach is there are so many people involved in the team. You have the players, the parents, the club administrators, and that's not including the other team, the referees, and of course, scheduling your games. Hello, I'm Richie English, and I'm the Regional Director for the Coach app. This is a customizable software solution for clubs that gives soccer coaches the freedom to focus on coaching instead of everything else that steals their time and energy.
This is an all-in-one app that can be up and running in as little as 1 week. Schedule a demo on our website to find out if this is the all-in-one solution you've been looking for.